the security and safety checks when you're going? Are you good to start boarding?
Yes, start boarding.
Okay.
Hello everybody, welcome to Philbert Flies. Today we are flying from Dubai in the UAE to Islamabad in Pakistan, and we're doing that as PIA flight 234, which is scheduled to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. We'll just get the baggage on board and then we'll start setting up. In fact, we'll start setting up while the baggage is being loaded. I thought you might like to see a little bit of baggage action before we set off. Right, so I've made a little start. As always, we're connected to external power. I've aligned the ADs. I've got the lights set up both externally and internally, and we'll start the APU because we'll be getting ready to board soon. It's a balmy 23 degrees here in Dubai, 0 clouds, and winds are 340 at 12. So a lovely day to go flying, and no doubt if you're not used to this sort of weather, it makes it that little bit easier to get out of bed in time for a 5 o'clock departure. Now, I did discuss potentially not flying this flight on VATSIM but using Pilot to ATC, but I've decided that there is a chance that we might have some control in Dubai, probably not in Islamabad, but you never know, and that's part of the excitement of VATSIM flying. Plus there are some aircraft around us departing from Dubai. I'll just have a quick look at VATSPY and I can tell you a little bit about where they're going. So we've got our good selves, of course, PIA234. We also have FDB 761 to Lima, Quebec, Sierra Alpha, don't know where that is, Qatar 452, and Turkish 34 Tango. Neither of those last two have filed a flight plan yet, but they are on the airport somewhere. So it's quite nice to have a little bit of life around us that isn't just computer generated, I thought. So now we've got the APU online, we've got the baggage boarding, passengers will be on their way shortly, we'll start setting up the FMGC. You'll notice that in the little update that came along a few days back, they've updated the AIRAC database, so that's now current. So we'll start with our init A page, as always. And the from and to are already programmed in. Our alternate today is going to be, bear with me, OPIS. I don't know where that is, but let's have a look. That's ISA Air Base and Pakistan International Airport in Peshawar. So that's where we'll be going if something untoward happens, or something that means we cannot continue our flight. So I'll put that in, OPIS. We'll put our flight number in, PIA234. We're going to be using a cost index of 12, and we'll be cruising at flight level 370. Over to the flight plan page, and most of this has already been set up from our flight plan automatically. So we're taking off from runway 30 left, and we're going to be following the DAVMO for Foxtrot departure. We won't worry about our arrival for now because it's quite a long flight, around about 2.5 hours, something like that. We'll do that in the air. Doha to Dubai is now legal again. I didn't know it ever wasn't, to be honest. Why was it illegal, Airplane Niner? Is that true, Stucker? Every Arabic airline goes to Islamabad. That is interesting. Right, so we've got the flight plan set up, or as much as we need to for now, so we'll go and do our init B page. And we'll import the zero fuel weight centre of gravity, take our block fuel from up here, so it's 8.7 tonnes rounded up. And now we can go over to our perf page. Now, unlike yesterday, I did remember to calculate our takeoff performance data before starting off, so all of our speeds today are 165. Oh, that doesn't work. I thought I could just copy it from one row to the next, but apparently not. 165, 165, 165. We'll look at our departure chart to get the transition altitude, and that's going to be 13,000 feet. And we'll change our thrust reduction and acceleration heights to 1,500 and 3,000 feet, respectively. And we'll be doing a flaps 1 takeoff with a flex takeoff temperature of 60 degrees. So that's the MCDU sorted out. Oh, that's so interesting, Airplane 9. I never knew that. Infamous Gamer UK, hello. Nice to see you. I'm very well, thank you. Yes, I do have the correct airframe from the A320 mod set up on SimBrief. Hello, Kevin, and hello, Sector RBLX. Welcome to the stream. And LDR in flight as well. Oh, it's nice to see so many regulars back. So now we've set up the MCDU, it's time to have a look at any restrictions that might exist on our departure route, and we can do that together. I'll just pop up the Navigraph window. Can you see that? Yes, I think you can. So this is our routing. As you can see, we're taking off from Dubai here in the northeastern bit of the UAE. We'll be flying over Iran, entering Iranian airspace over Bandar Abbas, and flying east, then making a sharp right turn into southern Pakistan, then flying northwest more or less the whole length of the country, past Quetta, Job, forgive my pronunciation, I'm sure it's very much an approximation, and ending up in Islamabad up here. And down here I've got our departure route, so we're following this line here, the Davmo, and you'll see that we have some minimum speed restrictions here, which is unusual. I haven't seen them before in a departure chart, but we're in an A320. We won't have any trouble being at least 180 knots by here, or 190 knots by here. The first thing that we need to be concerned about really is the maximum 220 knot speed restriction just before we make this slight right hand turn. So really in the A320 you should be able to set that up as a constraint, but it isn't working at the moment, so we're going to try and do it manually with managed speed mode, which I've had limited success with in the past, but you know, it's not the end of the world if it all goes horribly wrong in terms of speed. So that's the gist of our departure, just to give you a little idea. And I'll catch up a little bit on the chat. No, I don't use SimToolkit Pro, but that reminds me, for some reason, that I haven't started up that little bar at the top of the stream for you. So I'll just have a quick go at doing that now. The progress bar, I think it's showing something, but not what it should be. Oh no, it's not showing anything at all. Maybe a few black squeals. So I'll just set that up ever so quickly. FS add-ons, then I overlay. And it's going to be wrong initially, but I will fix it. I've just got so many things that I want to start at the beginning of streams now that I inevitably forget something. OMDB to OPIS, airline, PIA, and we're doing PIA flight 234 on VATSIM, 37,000 feet, transition altitude's 13,000, and that should now be good to go. Right, and now I've lost my chat window, unfortunately. Good, there it is. You're meant to be doing a live lesson. Liam, don't get into trouble with your teacher on my account, but welcome to the stream anyway. Your mum's old home in Islamabad is where your grandma lives. Oh, okay, interesting. Right, well I think we're more or less ready to go, so we'll start the before start checklist. We can set our altitude to cruising altitude of flight level 370, because there are no constraints on our departure route and there's no ATC to tell us otherwise. So let's do the checklist.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed.
Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
ADOs.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Baro ref.
1018. Set.
1018. Set. Down to the line.
Peter, welcome. Nice to have you here. How's life treating you in Germany? We'll turn the APU bleed on. And now we just have to wait for boarding to complete. So our scheduled departure time is 0500 local, which is 4 hours ahead of GMT, so it'll be 0500 Zulu. I think there's no point hanging about here, so we'll fast forward
Hi
the
guys, here's the low
FS2
cheap
crew pre-flight
Thanks.
events a
No
little
problem. Have a safe flight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our flight today. As you locate your assigned seats, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you.
There are a variety of regional accents for flight crew A320, but sadly there are none appropriate to Dubai, so all the crew is going to be British.
Please bring it to the boarding door and we will check it for you. Also review the safety instruction in your seat pocket. If you're seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seating criteria.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Yep.
Thanks, let me know if you need anything.
So this Dubai is of course part of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's a handcrafted airport. It's not bad. It's not their best, but it's not their worst. There's no light coming from this terminal building, which I find a little bit odd, whereas if you look further along this way, you'll notice that we've got a nicely lit building with a partially modelled interior. So we just happen to be at the wrong terminal for the full effect of this scenery. So as you can see, the jetway's moved away. We'll turn on the beacon light. We'll make sure that our thrust levers are at idle. And they are, and then we can run the before start checklist below the line. Caffel, hello, nice to see you. Oh, bad luck, Peter. That is rotten news.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
And because there's no air traffic control online, we are going to tune 122.8, the Unicom frequency, and then we can talk to other traffic and make sure there are no conflicts, ideally. Dubai traffic, Pakistan 234, pushback and engine start, gate Foxtrot 12.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes.
Sure, there's no interior
Parking
here,
brakes
but
released.
I'll give
Pushing
you a
back.
little look once we pass the bit that does have a modelled interior. So on the text chat on vPilot, which is the VATSIM client, I can tell you that there is an Emirates flight 350 inbound for ILS runway 30 left, currently at 15,000 feet. And hopefully you heard that. So there's another aircraft lining up. And you can see an aircraft in the sky up there.
You are clear behind and you may start engines at your discretion.
Great.
Starting engine 2.
Let's just keep a little bit of an eye on our pushback. It's quite a long way, this one. So with a bit of luck, we might even get both engines started before I have to go and steer the pushback tug. Or maybe not. Okay, so yes, as I say, the taxiway lighting isn't up to much, but I believe there's actually a second taxiway here, which we'll try and line up with. I just caught a glimpse of the centre line. It is odd. Heathrow's a bit like this as well. Some of it is lit, and other bits just aren't at all. So, never mind.
Dubai traffic, Sky Dubai 761 departing runway 30 left.
See what I mean? There's a taxiway centre line in complete darkness there. I think that'll do. We'll be able to see what we're actually doing once we turn the taxi lights on, I hope.
Pushback completed and set the parking brakes.
Parking brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected, equipment is clear, and we will see you on the right hand side of the cabin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks, have a good flight and see you later.
Starting engine 1.
So we'll start engine 1, we'll set our transponder to 2000, conspicuity, traffic to TARA, and now we're away from the terminal. I'm going to turn on the weather radar and the predictive wind shear warning system. Up here we'll leave the APU bleed on for now because the engine's still starting, but once that's done we'll turn it off, turn the taxi lights on and try and find our way with no centerline lighting.
As well as all crew instructions, the lighted information signs and posted placards.
Hello Jason, it's an early morning flight, so we're departing at 0500 local, so we should have a bit of a sunrise quite soon, I hope. Good afternoon Pavel, welcome to the stream.
Clear off runway 30
And smooth
left,
flying, nice to see you
right.
too, I'm glad you enjoyed the last stream.
Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the nearest exit to you and note that the nearest exit may be
Right, so both engines are now online. Engine mode selected to normal. APU bleed off.
If there is a loss of cabin pressure, a panel will open
APU
and oxygen
off.
mask will appear.
And we can run the after start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
Pitch trim for this flight should be 26% MAC. Just double check. No, it shouldn't, that was the last flight. 24% for this one.
Your life jacket is
So,
located under
spot
your
on. No, it isn't, it's the wrong side.
As
As I was saying, now it's spot on.
25% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Best payware scenery in Europe, Aerosoft's Cologne Bon, William. That is, in my opinion, the best.
This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is
Flight
not
control
permitted
check.
in the cabin or in the lavatories.
Full up.
Cabin lights
Full
will now be
down.
turned off.
Neutral.
Reading light
Full
buttons
left.
are located over your head.
Full
Thank
right.
you very much for
Neutral.
your attention.
Rudder.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Right, and while the first officer's doing his flight control checks, I'll announce our intentions. Dubai traffic, Pakistan 234, taxiing holding point runway 30 left via Zulu and Kilo.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Let's get moving. Yeah, Jason, just before you got here, I was bemoaning the lack of taxiway centerline lighting. So Kilo over here has good centerline lighting, but here we have none. And we're going to take a quick stop outside this terminal building over here because I promised someone a little look inside. Set the auto brake to max, test the takeoff config. Once we're a bit closer to the hold short point, we will ding the cabin and start the before takeoff checklist. Right, let's just pause here, set the brakes and have a little nose around.
FOB 761, have a great flight from greetings from Emirates 350 at Unicom 122.8.
Thanks 350, you have a great landing, bye-bye.
Bye, have a great flight ahead.
Ah, that's nice. Bit of friendly banter on the Unicom. So this is what the interior looks like. As you can see, it's fairly bare compared with what you get in a payware airport, but not bad for something that's included by default. I can't remember which version this starts in. Right, let's get moving again. So this taxiway we're on at the moment, Zulu, continues all the way past Concourse A, but I'm tempted to make a left turn here to join Kilo where we actually have taxiway lighting. I think that would probably be sensible. No one else about as far as I can see, and I've announced our intentions quite vaguely, so we'll be fine. Hello Irish Aviator, welcome back. Nice to see you. That is a fun fact, Stucker, thank you. Okay, so when you fill your plane up, whether you do that from the world map screen or the what's it called, the weight and balance menu up here, you'll get a MAC value, and that allows you to set the correct trim setting for takeoff. After that, you don't touch the trim because it's all automatically trimmed. So the question now is, do we have time to take off before Emirates 350 lands? Or has he already landed? So William, as I say, Cologne Bonn is my favourite, but I also did a top 10 sceneries of 2020 so far.
350, we are descending to 5000 and making an approach towards runway 30 left.
Yeah, so what was I saying? Top 10 or something, top 10 sceneries video I did, you can find it on my YouTube channel. They were all in Europe, and I think they are still my favourite sceneries in Europe. I don't think anything has beaten them yet. But if you want a quick off the top of my head list, Cologne Bonn, as I say, Trondheim is great, Copenhagen Kastrup is great, Gothenburg Landvetter is also great. So yeah, those are some to get you started. There are plenty of others, and the freeware Gatwick is amazing as well. It's probably the best freeware big airport scenery I've seen. Right, we'll ding the cabin crew and get on with the before takeoff checklist.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff.
Oh, thank you, Careful. No, you don't set your trim on the world map screen. You make a note of the MAC figure and you set your trim on the wheel down here as I did a moment ago. I guess this is Emirates 350 up here. Or maybe not, maybe that aircraft's actually going away from us. Long old taxi this, isn't it? It's worse than that one we did at Cologne Bonn the other day.
Emirates 350, we are cleared for ILS 30 left and landing at runway 30 left. Our cruising speed at 200 knots currently, and we are descending to 2000 feet.
Emirates 350, Pakistan 234, approaching holding point runway 30 left. We'll await your arrival, sir.
Is this from Pakistan International Airlines, Emirates 350?
Affirm, I just said we are approaching holding point for 30 left. We will wait for you to arrive.
Emirates 350, thank you sir, copied.
Oh, is that so, Airplane Niner? You've got a good knowledge of this airport. I've never actually taken off from here. I did one arrival, but he says he's at 2,000 feet inbound ILS, so mind you, I can't see him right enough.
Anyway. Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flat setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
V1 165, VR 165, V2 165,
V1 165, VR 165, V2 165, ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff no blue.
Down to the line.
Right, can we see this other aircraft? Is this him? Not entirely sure what's going on here.
Emirates 350 going around, we will make another ILS approach.
Oh, yes, it is.
Emirates 350, correction, we are making another ILS approach, we are going around.
Dubai traffic, Pakistan 234, line up and take off 30 left. So, landing lights on, runway turn off lights on, strobe on, and nose light to take off. And we're on a very, very steep hill here. Hopefully we can get up it. Is the parking brake off? Yes. I have to use takeoff thrust to get up this weird bit of terrain. Yeah, that was certainly, well, certainly not a standard approach route, was it, that he took?
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Pax.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
So just before we take off, I would like to warmly invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and do please click the like button underneath this video if you're enjoying what you're seeing. Let's
Ready?
go.
Ready.
Take off.
So thrust levers to about 50%, engine stable, and flex.
Man flex, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue.
Check. Thrust set. $100 knots.
Check.
Emirates 350 maintaining 25,000, correction, maintaining 2,500 feet at 180 knots.
V1. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Autopilot 1. AP1.
Check.
So now I'm going to ask it to maintain 210 knots, was it? Let me check the chart quickly. 220 knots. So that we don't bust the speed restriction for this departure route.
Flap 0.
Speed checked. Flaps 0.
How's that for a view, eh? Not bad, is it? Yeah, I think it's a combination of our weight and our the temperature outside, I think. Plus the fact that we had a very long runway, so that's why V1 was so high. So we could easily stop up till that point. Good, so we're maintaining 220 knots, and that's until this waypoint here. Now we're safely off the ground, we can turn off the dome light, which should be set to dim for takeoff. Something to do with electrical systems if you lose power. Can't remember the ins and outs of it, but it's something I read from a source that I believe to be reliable. Yeah, lovely scenery, isn't it? So we're out over the sea. Thanks, Airplane Niner. Thank you. Yes, it certainly was a strange looking approach, wasn't it? I'll have a look at this track later on. Glorious. So once we've passed this waypoint, which I think we can pretty much say is now, we can go back into managed airspeed mode, and the aircraft should accelerate initially to 250 knots, but then up to, as soon as we're past 10,000, up to our cruising Mach. So above 10,000 feet we can turn the landing lights off, we can turn the runway turn off lights off, and we'll do the after takeoff climb checklist.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Packs.
On.
Down to the line.
And we're shortly going to be passing transition and altitude, which was, I thought it was 11,000, and I thought I set 11,000. So it should normally say, it should normally flash the QNH. Oh no, it's 13,000. Fair enough. Every time you take off you can't get the AP to follow your route. Have you definitely got it set to the managed mode? So you should have a dot here a dot here, and that will, so basically the main one is heading. You've got selected heading mode and managed heading mode. If you're in managed heading mode, you'll have a dot to show that the airplane is controlling your course, and then it should follow your flight plan. Other than that, I don't know what to suggest really. I don't know, Jason. It's a good question. It may not be in the sim. I would have thought it would be though. Yeah, sorry, I should have had a little look for that. Just gonna. Oh, I was gonna say I'll decrease the brightness of the displays, but I can't. They're already at their lowest. Well, we got nice smooth air, so we'll turn the seatbelt sign off. Wait for the self-test to complete, and hopefully we'll get our PFD back. Yes, we have. So we've passed 13,000 feet now, which means we can set to the pressure to standard.
Set standard.
Standard, cross-checked, passing flight level 146.
Can you set the cruising Mach that you want?
Now.
You
Check.
should be able to, but I don't think it's implemented. It should really be controlled by your cost index, which is basically a measure of how, it's like a ratio between fuel efficiency and speed.
Below the line.
Baro ref.
Standard set.
Standard set.
Emirates 350, we are cleared to ILS 30 left, and we are landing.
Was it a bumpy landing because of a fault in the runway, or was it your flying, Stucker? Oh, that's interesting, Dave. Did you have any scenery for Dubai and Islamabad? Yes, likes would be much appreciated. I see I've got a couple of thumbs downs on this, I don't know why. I thought it's been alright. So far, anyway. So, so wind shear is essentially where you have a rapid change in wind speed or direction, either up and down or horizontally, and that's quite a dangerous phenomena. So it can cause the airplane to suddenly lose a large amount of altitude, which is obviously particularly worrying on final, and that's obviously something you want to avoid. That's what wind shear is. The transponder is a device which helps air traffic control identify you. So you may hear air traffic controls telling you to squawk, say, I don't know, 5139, so you type that in here. Make sure your transponder is set to TARA rather than standby, and then you'll pop up on their radar screens. Oh, it's in real life, I see. Crosswinds, yeah, could be. Can I see who gave me the thumbs down? No, I can't. It's not something worth worrying about, to be honest, Jason. I was only half serious when I was acting hurt. Yeah, fair enough. Do you know, Dave, I did try to go back to P3D a couple of times since using this sim, because I do really miss the FS Labs A320, but I hated it. Even though the aircraft was a lot more realistic, I just didn't feel like I was flying in the real world anymore. Trying to get you a wing view, but there's no lights inside, so it's a dark wing view. But at least you can see a little bit of the coastline there and the red glow in the sky pre-sunrise. Oh, good, Edgar. I'm glad you found it useful. Good. Yeah, that was one of my first, if not my very first, tutorial that I did back in the early days of full butt flies. But yeah, it's still relevant. Yeah, so you just switch a switch down here. So it's next to the weather radar. There's the weather radar. There's the predicted wind shear warning system, which doesn't work, doesn't do anything. But best to get into the habit of these things, just in case one day we get an Airbus that has it all fully featured, and hopefully it'll be this fly-by-wire one. Oh, I'm glad, Roger. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. I'm using the dev at the moment. I did use the custom fly-by-wire thingy for a while, and it seemed to cure the wing drop on landing. But other than that, it caused me one or two problems, as it was supposed to. It's in very early development. And since going back to the normal dev build, I haven't had wing drop once, touch wood. So I think that might be something they've fixed throughout the certainly those two versions, and hopefully all three. Yeah, the beacon light is pretty bright. What did I just press? Oh, it was insert. I thought I'd press print screen. Yeah, you need to, you wing view fanatics, you need to push for a fully modelled interior for this plane and some lighting, because this, surely even you would agree, is a bit rubbish. In fact, once you're away from land, there's really probably no better view than from the cockpit, I would say. Yes, the beacon does seem to be particularly powerful on this aircraft, I'll give you that. Brighter than the strobes, isn't it? Oh, Stucker, thank you. I can't see that line at the top. But yes, you're absolutely right. Is it picking up anything else? Is it getting our altitude right? Yes, it is. Okay, let's try restarting it. That was probably because I started it and changed the route. Get rid of it, and I will restart it. Let's try that. No, it's still not working. I don't know why. Let's just try messing around with it, see if it changes. Right, so that's done that. If it thinks I'm flying to Heathrow, it can tell me all of that information accurately. Let's try changing it back to Islamabad. Do you know, I think it just doesn't know where Islamabad is. I think it's as simple as that. It is OPIS, isn't it? Yeah, that's not so good, is it? It's obviously got an incomplete database that it's accessing. So I think what we'll do for now is just turn it off, because I don't think it's going to work today. Sorry about that, everyone. But you can still have the other bar with the statistics on it. Or statistics data, I suppose you'd call it. No, well, I'm not really that near Cambridgeshire, but I'm not far from Stansted Airport, LDR. I didn't know that. What was the reason for the plane being escorted, do you know? Yeah, that's true, Caffel, that's true. You only see strobes where, Barjan? Where? Yes, this is correct, Dave. But is it brighter than the strobe lights? I can't. So long since I've seen a real aircraft, I don't remember ever looking out of a plane window at night and seeing the wings being lit up that much by a beacon. Ah, yeah, good point, Ruben. I might post a link to that if I can work out how to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments we'll begin our meal service for the flight. Please refer to the menu given to you on boarding for the 2 meal choices and for the beverage choices available. We request that you keep the aisles clear to assist the flight attendants to serve you efficiently and also for your own safety. Thank you.
How do you share a flight, a link to a particular flight on Simarc? Does anyone know? Hello, Ruben. I don't know. Anyway, if you go to map.vatsim.net and search for PIA234, then you'll see exactly where we are. I see, so it's the height, not the brightness, that's doing it. Interesting. What's on the menu? I'm going to say fajitas. It's going to be chicken or vegetarian fajitas, because that's what I had for lunch, and I'm feeling lacking in inspiration for thinking of what might be on an airline menu at the moment. Oh right, Elder, interesting. Did you see the Eurofighters or did you just hear them? Yeah, I could fly flights that crash Stuka. I think it might be a little bit tasteless though, so I probably will avoid them. Oh, and Dubai ATC's just come online. That's disappointing. We were just a little bit too early for them. Oh, right. Gonna have to Google this story later. Very interesting. So I'm going to show you one of the new features that is in, it's not the very latest version, it's been out for a while. But if you go to the AOC menu, and you go to the init review page, you can see, well, this doesn't seem quite right. Oh yes, it does. You can see all of your times in Zulu. So you can see that we closed the doors at 0048, which was 0448 local. And we pushed back from the gate at 0049. Took off at 0107. We should have taken off at 0100, I believe, but never mind. And we've been flying for a total of 18 minutes. That's quite a useful little thing to have. And also these days, if you look at the flight plan page, all of this information is quite accurate. So you can see that we're going to OPIS. Our ETA is 0313. So how long away is that? About 2 hours and 3/4, something like that. And we've got 1,031 miles to go. Yeah, I quite agree, Dave. As I say, a little bit tasteless. No, it won't be dark on arrival. We'll be arriving at 12:30. No, that's yesterday's flight. I really should invest in more paper so that I don't have to cram everything onto my tiny bit of paper. I can't remember what time I said we'd be arriving, but it'll be on the video description. I always put the times on there. Yeah, 8:55 we'll be arriving, so that'll be light by then. Don't forget we're a long way south compared with the UK. I think it might be time to have a little bit of in-cruise music. I'll put some on. If people don't like it, just shout and I'll turn it off again. I like to have a little bit of background music for these slightly longer flights. I'm not sure actually, Irish Aviator. I'm not sure. Look it up. Yes, I remember you. Definitely remember Shark Gamer. Welcome back. Nice to see you. So now we're in the cruise. It seems like a good enough time as any, as good a time as any, to remind people about the various ways of supporting this channel, should you choose to. So you can now join what I'm calling Club Filbert, which is a membership program. To do that, you just click the join button underneath this video. I've got two tiers, bronze and silver. With the bronze tier, you get access to a custom avatar, as you'll see a couple of people in this chat using. You get access to 2 private Discord channels, one voice and one text. And you also get custom emojis to use in the chat and YouTube comments. With Club Filbert Silver, in addition to that, you get a monthly private live stream, which is going to be just me flying and the other silver members. So it'll be a bit more intimate and your messages won't get lost in the chat so easily. So anyway, the main point of both of these things, of course, is to just help the channel to grow and keep me going. So that would be wonderful if anyone wanted to join up to that. Also, if you want to make a one-off donation, this can be done too at streamlabs.com/filbertflies, and there's a link to that in the video description. Oh, I don't do lyrics. No, I don't do lyrics. I'm sorry, Liam. I do something peaceful and restful. My ground speed should be visible in the top of the in the bar at the top of the stream. Is it not? Oh no, it's not. Is it? It just got Mac. Let's have a look. .571 knots. Will I get the fly-by-wire A380? Definitely. What's the name of the song? So this is an album by a man called Trevor Kowalski. That last track was called Stratus. William, don't you worry. No one who doesn't have their own credit card should be considering joining. Marcus, hello, nice to see you. Yes, it is dark here because it is 5:30 AM local. So we're doing this flight at the time it actually flew. So departure is 0500 local, and scheduled arrival time is going to be 8:55 local in Islamabad. I'm not making my camera shake. It's just the wind. Unless you're talking about what I did earlier, which was to look around, and I do that using Track IR, which is a head tracking device, and it allows you to look all the way around the cockpit like that. Oh wow, yes, I hadn't noticed the tailwind. That's awesome. 113 knots, more or less dead on the tail. Oh, thanks, Jesse. Yeah, I play the violin, and I used to play the piano, but I don't so much anymore. So yeah, a little bit of clear air turbulence here. In fact, I think it might be worth putting the seatbelt sign on for now, to avoid any unfortunate incidents in the cabin. What made you stop, Jason? Yeah, so the point behind intercepting aircraft that lose comms, Stucker, is that any aircraft could pose a threat. Usually they don't, but it's standard procedure everywhere really if an aircraft goes silent and you don't know what it's doing, to send out fighter aircraft after it. 700 miles an hour, that's incredible. But yeah, those, what do they, I forgot what they call them, the jet stream above the Atlantic can be pretty quick. Oh, sorry, did I miss a message from LDR? Oh, I did. I found it now. Any final tips for your first VATSIM flight? I would say the biggest thing is to make sure you can write everything down that they're saying, and if you don't understand it or you mishear something or you've got any doubts, just ask them to say again. No one will mind you doing that, and they'd prefer you to do that than to get the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. I'm still nervous when I fly on VATSIM, not as bad as I used to be, but it really is just practice to get over the nerves. Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to have train tracks as well. And yeah, I know what you mean. I very rarely play the violin anymore. I do a little bit of folk now, which I never did when I was learning it. So yeah, I quite enjoy that, but it's very sporadic compared with how often I used to play. You sort of replace music with drinking when you hit 17, don't you? It's sort of just, I did anyway. I'm sure not everyone does. But all of the youth music stuff stops. You're no longer in youth orchestras, you're no longer having lessons, and playing on your own is a little bit dull. And instead of that, you have friends who you want to go out with and do things. So it was almost a direct replacement for me. Violin for pub. But I took it up again a little bit later on. That will be the North Atlantic tracks, Ruben. So that's not always going to be active. But those are the tracks which are decided each day based on winds by which aircraft cross the Atlantic. I've never done a transatlantic fly on VATSIM though, that's quite a commitment. Yeah, that's also good advice from Marcus. There's nothing more stressful than starting somewhere like Heathrow or Gatwick where you've got, you know, just you can barely get a word in edgeways at times. That's a good idea, LDR, in principle, if they have ATC on at Southend. If they don't have ATC on at Southend and they're doing top-down control from one of the London centre positions, that could still be quite stressful. Manchester can be busy as well. In fact, the whole of the UK is pretty busy. If Scotland control is on, or Scottish control, which it sometimes is, that's often quieter, so you could go from Edinburgh or Glasgow or whatever scenery you've got up there, perhaps Inverness even. Stuttgart isn't a bad shout actually. Germany tends to have quite a lot of control on. But you can always have a look at VATSpy before you start, see which areas are controlled and which areas seem to have not too much traffic. Snap, Marcus. But yeah, the thing with VATSIM is, once you've done a little bit of listening on the various frequencies, I've had a read up on the phraseology, there's nothing more for it, other than just diving in, I would say. And yeah, the quieter the airport you can find, the less stressful it is, but do it. You'll find it stressful and you'll ask yourself why you're doing it, and then when you land at the other end, you'll think, my god, that was incredible. M and M are asleep on the sofa, cuddled up together at the moment. Yes, I'm vaguely aware of the tension between the two countries, Stuka. I'm no expert on it, but yes. I'll let you into a little secret, LDR. There are times when I'm streaming and I see there's no ATC on at my destination, and I breathe a little sigh of relief. when I was doing that citation flight and London Control came online, just as I was about to start, I did think, oh goodness me, this is not going to go well. But it was fine, so I think you need to have a little bit of self-belief and throw yourself into it. Yeah, this is dawn breaking, correct. Yeah, I can understand that, Stuka. I hope it doesn't come to an all-out war. I'm sure it won't. What is the next stream? Okay, so I've got 2 streams that I'm planning. One is the next Bimbles Around Britain group flight on Saturday, and the other is going to be a shared cockpit stream with Kevin using your controls. Haven't decided where we're flying with that yet, but it will be in the A320. So yeah, those are the next 2. And for those of you who are interested in joining the Bimbles Around Britain group flight, it's open to everyone. You just need to join my Discord server, which is linked to in the video description, and which Nightbot is promoting every 25 minutes or something. I don't know, Jason. The government's saying autumn for everyone to have had the jabs, and I hope that comes to fruition, to be honest. Late summer, early autumn. I think there'll be a bit more normality before then. It just depends on how cautious you are. Personally, I won't be going to the pub until I've had both doses of vaccine, and I really, really miss it. But I think if you're prepared to take your chances, then maybe even spring might be possible once the most vulnerable have been vaccinated. I don't know. It's all crystal ball gazing, isn't it, really? No one knows for sure, including the government, I think. We're not in Pakistan yet, no, we're over the top of Iran at the moment. Is that true, Irish David? Do you know, I used to have a grip on what was going on in the rest of the world, but lately I've just not been watching the news. I can't bear it anymore. The overlay is called Bene Overlay. I'll type it out. Yes, yeah, they are. They're vaccinating at the moment, starting with over 85s and healthcare workers, and then moving down in sort of 5-year age brackets. Yeah, you must miss seeing your mum. Hopefully it won't be too much longer before you can get on a plane again. There's also a progress bar that goes with it, El Diablito, but for some reason it wasn't working with this particular combination of airports. I don't think it knows where Islamabad is. I think that was the issue. To be honest, I think that's the problem worldwide, Irish Aviator. That strain's been picked up everywhere now. And really, I'm all for open borders personally, but when you've got a pandemic going on, nobody should be flying anywhere. It's as simple as that, and they should have made that decision back in February. And then we wouldn't be in the state we're in, and neither would the rest of the world. But anyway, enough COVID chat. I have a no COVID on the stream chat. No COVID on the stream rule generally. But it's a long flight, so I allowed a little COVID chat. Maybe you could give the pilots a little bit of advice, Jason, after the landing. Smooth flying, yes, I'll definitely be getting the CRJ when it releases. I'm very excited about that. Hearing rumblings as well about it releasing next week, but I don't know where these come from. It's funny you should mention that, Marcus. I have just this morning done the filming for my review of Malpensa. That will be... It'll probably be going live at 10 AM tomorrow morning. I'm trying to keep to a regular schedule because that's what they say about growing your YouTube channel. A regular schedule is important for the algorithm. I don't know why. Mind you, my Southend review that I published at 10 AM this morning has done worse than any review I've done today. Just people aren't watching it. I don't know why. No, I haven't heard anything about the A220. In fact, I was sort of aware that there were a couple in development. One's a freeware one. There's a payware one as well, isn't there? But who's producing that? I know nothing really. Yeah, I just hope it's good. There's a lot of waiting and anticipation. Oh, LDR in flight, thank you so much. That's very generous of you. I really appreciate it, thank you. And hopefully you'll get a little thing dinging up on the stream. You're supposed to. It was working yet. Oh, hang on, it's because the alert box isn't active. Sorry. I'm so rubbish with this streaming software. Anyway. Anyone else who wants to donate should get a little animation and a tune, but please don't think for a minute I appreciate you any less for the lack of animation, LDR. Yes, there it is. That was something, wasn't it? Hooray! It worked. Thank you. Yes, I totally agree with you, Marcus. I don't want to give too much away. In fact, I'll give it all away because no one who's watching this stream is going to be surprised. I think it's probably the worst scenery I've ever seen for any flight simulator, and how they can charge €19.80 for it is beyond me. I think it's so cheeky, and I hated reviewing it because I hate reviewing bad sceneries. But yeah, absolutely dreadful. Yeah, you're quite right, Keffel. In this day and age, if it's got default jetways, the developer probably doesn't know what they're doing, or doesn't care. Yes, I believe Fly-by-Wire are doing an A380. It's a while since I've heard any news on it, but that's probably because I don't really keep an eye on their Discord server, because I'm always too busy doing stuff for blooming YouTube. Not that I don't love doing stuff for blooming YouTube, it's good, but it does seem to have taken over my life lately. I love the live stream still, the reviews I'm enjoying less than I used to, if I'm honest. Actually, I can't. I'm just having a look at their Discord now. I can't see a particular channel for it, but I'm definitely aware of them producing one. So yeah, it's not fake news. I just think it's in the very early stages at the moment. We're expecting the 737-800 towards the end of the year from PMDG, Jason. Are you going to see angry film? I don't think... No, I try and keep it professional, the Irish Aviator. I try and keep it professional, and I don't think I'm particular... I don't get ranty or anything like that. But I say it as I see it. I think the issue with fixing the 747 and the 787 is that a lot of the files are protected as an anti-piracy measure. So there are people working on those salty simulation for the 74 and someone whose name I forget. Is it Hangar 8? Yes, Hangar 8 Systems are trying to fix the 787. But they just can't get into the files in the same way that Fly-by-Wire did with the A320. There is some work going on an A350 as well, LDR, so that I think that will come. I tell you what though, for those of you who... I know more people are interested in airliner flying than anything else, but for those of you looking for a change, I cannot recommend the working title CJ4 mod enough. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I love the fly-by-wire, I really do, but it's even more complete and study level-esque than this is. You can do proper RNAV approaches now. You can fly holds just by programming them in the FMC. The autopilot works beautifully. Comes with a full manual so that you can learn what you're doing with it. So yeah, everyone go and fly the CJ4. After my stream though. Stay here for now. Yeah, particularly with Gaia simulations working on Stansted, it'll be really nice to be able to do a few Ryanair flights in a 737. I'm with you there, Caffel. I'm with you. I don't know how anyone can fly so unrealistically. Oh, good, good. Yeah, it's quite a steep learning curve. Even though I sort of consider myself to more or less know what I'm doing with the A320, with that plane, it's still a bit of a mystery for me in places. But that's part of the excitement. I enjoy learning new aircraft. Go on, Dave. What's the reason? This sounds like a conspiracy theory about to pop up. I'm sure it isn't. What would happen if an RAF intercepted an Air Force bomber? I don't really know, Stucker. Depends whose it was. I know the RAF go and escort the odd plane that strays where it shouldn't. Normally they speak on the radio and keep an eye from a distance. Ah, yes, exactly. Can I show you how to fly a hold in the stream? Yes, absolutely. How to program the FMC? I'll do it. I don't know when I'm going to have time because I'm on nights Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I have to. I've got Bimbles around Britain on Saturday. I've got another A320 flying shared cockpit on Sunday, so I will do it, but it won't be for a little while. Possibly next Friday, but don't hold me to that. Yeah, they've completely done their own autopilot, their own way of interpreting the nav data and everything, Dave. And it's incredible. Yes, you do need to do it again, Jason. They're on version 0.9.1 or 2, I think now. They've added a lot in quite a short space of time. Oh, did they, Irish Airboat? Didn't know that. And what was the outcome? Bit of chat on the radio and come to an agreement? I do remember LDR, I do. And I remember being very disappointed with that Concorde because there was one for it must have been for FS98 that I bought as an add-on. I have no memory of who did it, where it came from. But it was an add-on and it came with a VHS video with interviews with Concorde pilots that sort of taught you how to fly it, and you put it in the sim, and it had 2 adventures as they were back then, which were basically the only way you could have flights with air traffic control in those days. And it had custom ATC, and it was the best thing ever, even though it crashed to desktop on almost every flight. And then the FS2000 one came out and it just wasn't as good. No, Caffel, I did not see Akaruna. Have a look. That looks quite nice. It looks very nice, in fact. Do you have it, Caffel? Is it good? Seatbelt sign's already on, Jason. Don't know if you can see. It's been on for a little while. People are going to be needing to go to the toilet and getting agitated. So I'm hoping for a bit of smooth air soon for them. Yeah, I was doing my GCSEs when FS 2000 came out. FS 2000 was, well, yeah, got in the way of my revision, let's say. Yes, that rather nice tailwind's still with us, but we are now at about 45 degrees to it. Yeah, feel free, Irish Aviator, if it'll let you. I think YouTube might not let you share a link, and that's not something I've set up. I just think it's a default and I don't know how to change it. Yeah, interesting bit of local knowledge, LWT, thank you. Hello Eric, welcome to the stream. I buy some of it, but most of it now I get free press copies. Oh, nice, nice. I might have to take a look at that one. And I don't suppose there were any answers forthcoming, were there, Irish Aviator? Did you try posting the link? Did it block it? I wonder if I can do anything. Sorry about that. I'm looking as we speak at settings and I don't know how to do it. I don't know if you're in my Discord, but if you want to post it in there, I'll copy and paste it. Bit of a ridiculous way to have to do things, but there we are. Manage moderators, participants. Allow links in YouTube chat. Going down a Reddit rabbit hole here, trying to find that out. No, it can't be done from what I've seen. Official Google support forums, moderators can post links, clickable links, but regulars cannot. Surely that's something I should decide. Okay, I'll look it up. Oh yeah, there it is. Why are Russian military aircraft flying in Irish-controlled airspace? There you are. Oh, Marcus, this you can't hold in the A320. I was talking about the CJ4. That's a feature they've recently implemented. So on my next CJ4 live stream, I will demonstrate it. But yeah, this unfortunately it's not in the fly-by-wire mod yet. I'm sure it will be though. I don't think the hold button, the hold setup even works. It's a long time since I've done one. Maybe it does work. Let's try it. Let's just say we want to fly inbound on 091 with right turns, minute and a half each leg. We'll see if it does it. So normally you would expect it to be drawn on the ND here, so it would look like an oval shape like it does on the charts. It's not done that, but we'll see when we get to Sokir if it enters a hold. I don't think it will, but a little bit of excitement for the cruise. There you go. I'm sure it'll be coming, Marcus. If it isn't working already, it's clearly something they've done a bit of work on, or the FMGC wouldn't have it in at all. Zoom the map. No, it's still not drawing it in. Oh, no problem. I'm curious as well. What about if we zoom? Zooming is not a bad idea. Let's zoom in and go to plan mode. Certainly in the FS labs you could see it at any zoom level that there was a hold there. Yeah, it's good sunrise cruising music, I feel. Yeah, direct twos on the approach sectors don't tend to work very well at all at the moment. Well, I'm pleased to report we are now in Pakistan. We're just near the border with Afghanistan, which is on our left. Sorry there's nothing to see, there will be more to see soon, I promise. We're about halfway through our flight, something like that. Any minute now we should see the sun popping up over the horizon. We can see exactly where we are. But in the meantime, I'll show you on Navigraph. So this is where we're at, crossed over the border from Iran, this waypoint here. And we're heading heading towards a place called Dalbandin. As you can see, we're almost halfway there. My favourite piece of music. My favourite piece of classical music is probably Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto. I know, LDR, there are two things I'm jealous of. Well, there's a lot of things I'm jealous of with real world pilots, but the main one is seeing the sun every day, no matter what the weather. And the second one is seeing the sunrise and sunset from 37,000 feet. It's spectacular. Thank you, Openly. I'm glad you're enjoying the feels. Download Little Nav Map, that's free, and you can get a plugin for it which allows you to actually view where you are over Google Maps. That's quite good. But yeah, to be honest, I never use Little Nav Map for IFR planning, but I believe you can import a Microsoft Flight Simulator flight plan into it, so it should do a similar thing. Oh yes, both beautiful choices, Dave. Best office view ever, for sure. Yeah. But in return for the good bits, you have, you know, a fairly insecure job these days, and you have to get out of bed very, very early sometimes. So it swings and roundabouts. Yeah, it is, Jason. I'm really impressed with that. Okay, I think it's smooth enough now to turn the seatbelt sign off, probably. Hello, Josh. Yes, it is. I changed my mind at the last minute and decided I wouldn't go back to Pilot to ATC and would do it on VATSIM, because you do sometimes to get ATC in Dubai. Sadly, for us, they came online just as we were out of their airspace. If you just Google Little Nav Map, Jason, Little and then new word Nav Map, you'll find it. I think it's littlenavmap.org if I remember rightly. It's the same. You may have already got it if you follow the for when you do bimbles around Britain. I upload all of those in Little Nav Map format. I do. I remember you very well, Josh. I remember you very well. Yeah, I hope so, LDR. I hope so. I'm sure it will too. It's just going to take a little while, as it always does. Oh, never mind. There'll be plenty more, Josh. Yeah, I've never flown to Keflavik. I had to Google BIKF there. That's the one MK Studios are working on and Just Sim have recently released. Oh no, that's Helsinki. It's Helsinki. It's all north to me. Is there decent scenery for Keflavik? Really? Well, I think there was always very little chance of anyone being able to get away until mid-March. Personally, I can't see myself going away this year. I don't think it'll be... I don't think I'll have been vaccinated in time, and until I'm vaccinated, I don't think it's a good idea. But I really, really hope I'm wrong. Is there scenery for it, Marcus? I can Google this myself. Because of the 30-second YouTube lag, I can probably have found it out before I even see your answer. So MK Studios did one for P3D, that's right. Hello, Flight Sim today. Thank you for the advice. Oh, that sounds amazing, Josh. That sounds amazing. Yeah, so for a bit of context with Flight Sim today's comment, I was watching his stream yesterday, and his mate Simon was blaming his thumbs for a dodgy landing. First he blamed the joystick, then he blamed his thumbs. So that's what that's in reference to. Imagine one day when you're outside and suddenly a Tu-95 bomber flown right in your home. Oh, it's very hard to imagine, isn't it? Very hard to imagine. I'm not sure I'd be laughing though. Agreed, Baryan, agreed. He did. So there's an add-on, there's a very good freeware add-on for the new Istanbul airport actually, Josh. You can find it on flightsim.to. It's still not at version 1, so it's not perfect, which is why it hasn't appeared in any of my freeware focus videos, but already it's really impressive, and it'll be even better when it's finished. With Little Navmap, do you have to link it to MSFS so that you can bring it up and see where you are on your flight? Yes, but it sort of does it automatically. It's not a big setup process. My favourite landing in real life, LDR, was in a 747 at Heathrow when I was 14 years old, and I was allowed to sit in the cockpit for it, and that was just incredible. It was obviously pre-9/11. Other than that, I haven't been anywhere with a particularly interesting approach, I don't think. No, my favourite landing not in a cockpit was probably to Billy Bishop Airport in Toronto in a little turboprop. Don't know what it was. Might have been a Dash 8, Air Canada. I connected in Montreal and ended up at Billy Bishop Airport, and that was stunning because as you'll probably know from the sim, you fly in and you see the whole Toronto skyline next to you, and it was sunset, and it was just beautiful. Yes, thank you, Felicity. I'd forgotten what Sim Connect was called briefly, but yes, it's why it does it. And there's also a plugin that allows you to bring it up using this toolbar. I'll post the link to that in my Discord server later if I can find it. I remember looking for this for someone else and I couldn't find it anywhere, but so basically I haven't got it loaded at the moment. You get a little box pop up and you use it just like you would use the VFR map, which is very handy. And we see the sun! Gosh, that must have been exciting, Jackson. That's the year before I was born, Jason, and I still feel that I'm older than most people in here. Beautiful, isn't it? Nice bit of wing action from the other end for you, just for a bit of variety. Bit different to Europe, isn't it? No, I've got a vague sense of who's older than me and who's younger than me. I don't know, and that's part of the beauty of streaming, I guess. You're the grandpa. Are you? I would have... Well, I don't know. I've heard your voice. That's all I know about you, really. I know you live in Germany, and I know what your voice sounds like, but I wouldn't have put you in the grandpa bracket from having heard your voice. So to do the camera view, you go to it's actually a showcase, and it's one of the fixed cameras. I don't know which one this is, but you can use A and Shift A to move between them, which someone taught me on a stream recently, which saves bringing up the menu. It's lovely, isn't it, Sinead? You might be, Jason. I don't know. We don't know. I know how old you are. I don't know for sure how old Marcus is. I know LDR is slightly older than me. I know Stucker's a lot younger than me. And that's all I can tell you about people's ages. Thank you, Flight Sim today. This is... I've forgotten his name now. I've forgotten his name and I've lost my browser window where it's playing. That's right, Trevor Kowalski on Epidemic Sound. Yeah, this does feel a little bit like Groundhog Day, this age chat. I don't remember the outcome from last time though, Dave. I've got a memory like a sieve for this sort of thing. 1981 you had your first parties, okay. Okay. So there you are, Jason, you're not the oldest. Oh, that's a cool idea. There's a couple of airlines that let you do that, I think. I can't remember what the others are. I've never flown United, but I have at one point listened to ATC on board. Interesting for a while, but I think I might end up airsick. That's quite nice for a little bit, isn't it? Oh, the holding! Christ! I'd forgotten all about it. I think it's safe to say that holding doesn't work. We're well past it, and we haven't flown any holding patterns at all. And in fact, because we're past the waypoint, it should have disappeared from the flight plan, but it hasn't. But anyway, to avoid messing anything up, we'll delete it. We'll try once more. Try one at Kalat. It's not going to do it though. But it's encouraging that they've put the functionality in. Sukhoi, hello and welcome. Yeah, you changed your name recently on Discord to match your YouTube name, and I hadn't made the connection before. Well done on getting that exam out of the way. And Shempez, welcome, nice to see you. That's what I was really going for when I started exploring these views, because I know this is everyone's favourite. Yes, I'm not so far off that myself, Barjan and Eldia. What was your other name, Sukhoi? I've been racking my brain trying to remember what you used to be called. I don't, Marcus, but I will listen to them after this stream. No, you can't move in any of these preset views, unfortunately. That is the advantage of custom wing views, which is what pretty much every other streamer in the world uses. But I don't like them because you have to fly through a wireframe cabin to get to them. So I'm not doing them. Put my foot down about that. Yes, I don't know, does the other one have the winglet in view? No, sadly not. But you can do custom camera views. Drawyer has a video on it if people want to look it up, and then you can move around freely. But only a tiny bit of the cabin is modelled, so if you move the wrong way, you just see the outside. Andrews plays games. That's the one. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that is the beauty of wing views. They sort of connect the simming experience with what you've experienced in the real world, I think, don't they? You can imagine yourself doing this in the real world, whereas you can't imagine yourself sitting in the captain's seat. It's alright, Irish Aviator. I didn't even pick up on it. I know what you mean, Shimpez. It is. But we're very lucky to have this make-believe fantasy world in which we are on planes and we can fly all over the world. And I've said it before, but I find it hard to imagine a better form of escapism than this that you can do in your home. I don't, Marcus. No, I don't. I'm ashamed to say. That is an interesting fact, Stucker. I'm somewhat surprised by your name then, if that's the case. I've always thought Stuka Bomber is perhaps a little bit... don't know. I'm not sure I'd want to be named after a World War II fighter aircraft. But anyway. I did fly an FS-98 LDR, yeah, and I also flew in FS for Windows 95. That was my first sim. Yes, I know what you mean, Jason. I know what you mean. But what a glorious place to see the sunrise, eh? Just try and level the drone, because I've obviously come far enough that it's a bit off-pop. And once again, you'll have noticed that we haven't entered the holding pattern, so we'll exit. Seatbelts again? I don't know. It's a bit light chop. We're not actually seeing much in the way of altitude changes. I'll keep an eye on it though, don't you worry, Jason. The passengers are safe with me. Yes, I do, Stuka. I know what a Stuka dive bomber is. Yes, I do. That's why I found it surprising that someone whose grandparents fought in the British Army would have that as a YouTube name. Yes, LDR. This is just staggering, isn't it? Ludovico Einaudi. No. Einaudi. I don't even know what language that is, isn't it? It's probably Italian. Don't know how to pronounce it. No, never heard of him, I'm afraid. Okay, we'll turn the seatbelt sign on now.
Passengers and cabin crew, please be seated and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
And we'll turn the screens up because it's light out. Hooray! See, it is a little bit boring flying in the dark sometimes, but when you see sunrises like that, it's worth it, isn't it? Hello. Wish there was a better way of twisting knobs that didn't involve zooming in when you get the mouse in the wrong place. Oh, look at my Pirates Aviator, thank you. Ahmad, hello, welcome to the stream, nice to see you. I know. I couldn't imagine this. I couldn't imagine this even... Well, I was part of the alpha program for this sim, so I was aware of it and I was flying in it probably a year ago now, almost. I can't remember when it started. It was probably maybe February, March, but you know, even 2 months prior to that, I would never have believed this was possible. Yeah, agreed, Shempes, agreed. What desert is that? That's a very good question. I'm going to look it up. I was about to say something stupid, so I'm definitely going to look it up before I open my mouth and make wild guesses. So we're near a place called... I'm going to call it RB Gum, because that's how it's written, AAB-E-GUM, but my pronunciation does make it sound like it's somewhere up north in the UK. So it's in sort of in the middle of Pakistan. Looks to cover the bulk of Pakistan actually, and Afghanistan. So Pakistan has 5 major deserts which were historic forests. These include Thar Desert in Sindh, Karan Desert or Karan Desert in Balochistan, Katpana Desert in Skardu, Thal Desert in Bakar, and Cholistan in Bahawalpur, Punjab. So I would say, looking at a very low resolution image, that this is probably actually not technically a desert, because we're too far north to be in a desert, I think. Or if it is, it's the Tal Desert, Thall, which is bordered by a river, which I can't see on the... Oh yeah, there's the river. Yeah, this is not a desert, I can say that with some confidence. Yeah, exactly, Jason. Felbert reads out Wikipedia. How are we doing progress-wise? 369 nautical miles to go till landing. We should be landing at 0317, so in just under an hour. I'm not flying in live time, Chai. I'm flying as the real world flight flew. So it's now 0238 Zulu. Which means we are 10 hours ahead of real time. Well, yeah, that's correct. We're 10 hours ahead of real time at the moment. Yeah, I guess they can, Jose. Maybe you can have a desert that isn't named as a desert. I don't know. Yeah, so the time in Dubai in the sim... What time? We took off at 0500, which was 0100. So it's 7:38 in the morning in Dubai in the sim, I think. And we're also flying east, so we're chasing the sun essentially. No, we're not. Not chasing the sun, but it's lighter where we are now than it would be in Dubai, is what I mean. Yeah. Honestly, trying to compare the actual real world time here in the UK with the actual real world time in Pakistan and Dubai with the sim time is just doing my head in. But I think what I've said is correct. So we're over Pakistan. We are roughly in the middle of Pakistan now, but slightly closer to the border with Afghanistan than the border with India. And our nearest town is a place called Loralai, Loralai. Yeah, that would explain the difference in in brightness, Chad. It's nice though. We've got at least 2 people in here from Dubai. We've got 1 person in here whose family's from Pakistan. No, we're not in Islamabad. Got 1 person here from Sweden, a very different place to where we are now. Nice to see you, Kevin. There was a guy from Nigeria yesterday, yeah. And on the last Bimbles around Britain, there was someone from another country in Africa. Where were they from? He didn't fly with us, but he said hello from a group of flight simmers in... Is it Uganda? I don't remember. Ah, so you're South African, but you live in Dubai, do you, Chai? Oh, I missed your previous message. Have I done any flight in South Africa? No, because we don't have any very good... we don't have any very good scenery for South African airports at the moment, but I'd like to. British Airways is operating domestic flights. Not in South Africa, though, right? Didn't know South African Airways had shut down. Is that because of the dreaded virus, or is it just in financial straits? Ah, right, that's right. So it was you who was from Nigeria, but you live in Dubai, right? Is that right? Or have I misremembered? So yeah, I mean, my original point was that it's really nice to have some people from the countries we're flying in between. But it is, of course, incredible that I've got people from all over the world watching. It's great. Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I know. I mean, I suppose I'm that sort of bridge generation, which they call exennials. I remember life before the internet, and I remember having an Atari. I don't know what Simon Says is, other than the game. But yeah, it is absolutely incredible what we've got these days. And because it's all come in so gradually and in little steps, it's easy to forget, isn't it, that we might never have had anything approaching this. Yeah, okay. I didn't know that Comet had anything to do with the show estimates, so you learn something every day. Absolutely, LDR is great. I had an Atari ST-FM, and I used to play a game on it called Carrier Command. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It was the best game ever. Well, no, it's not. This is probably the best game ever, but it was the best game of its time. Right, I am going to go and take a quick comfort break. I'll be back shortly. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. What have I missed? Wire ship. Yes, exactly, new boy. Exactly. The version I had didn't have wire ships. It was a slightly more up-to-date version, so we did have like 8-bit colour. But you had to basically, you started from one end of the map, and your enemy started from the other. And you had the carrier, you had aircraft, you had amphibious landing craft, and you had to colonise these islands basically, and it was a lot of fun. And I know it's not a related question, but what do I think about the München add-on for FS 2020? I think it's alright, Kevin. I think it's alright. It's very Simwings. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it doesn't feel all that realistic. But Munich is a very important airport, and I'm glad we have it. It's better than nothing. Good, enjoy your biscuits. It wasn't me. I know I was going to the toilet, but I did have some chocolate on the way back. Fighter jet chat, good. It might just be, Marcus, that I don't know. There's a lot of bands I should have heard of that I haven't heard of. But I will look them up. I do know 99 Blue. Yes, I do. I know Nina, indeed. Yes, I'm quite excited for Guys Munich as well. Paco, hello and welcome to the stream. I've inspired you to do an A320 home cockpit. Amazing. Will you do one for me once you've finished yours, so that you can learn from your own mistakes and I don't have to get my hands too dirty? Don't get me wrong, Paco, I'll pay for the shipping. I don't know if I would ever go full home cockpit actually, but I do want to create a bit more space in my loft and board it out so that I can certainly have a bigger setup than I have now. Did you, Marcus? That's quite an undertaking. Yeah, I think we must be about 40 minutes away. Let's have a look. Do we have any idea when helicopters will be coming? I haven't heard a time frame. I know that Asobo want to do them, but I don't know when. 3 hours, 0316. Is that what it says? 0316 is now 2:50, about 25 minutes away apparently. Struth, we better start setting up for the arrival, hadn't we?
You have control.
I have control.
Right, METAR, OPIS. So the wind is 230 at 6 knots. Our flight plan shows us following the DAMT-1 Echo arrival. And let's just have a look at the approach options. So we've got runways 10 and 28. Parallel runways. I think we'll go for the ILS Zulu to 28 left. And we'll set that up down here in the MCDU. I think the UK World Update's coming on the 21st. Correct me if I'm wrong. DAMT-1 Echo and ILS 28 left Zulu. So, and that's right, with the ISTA transition, DAMT-1 Echo, ILS 28 left. Correct. Go to the perf page. Good grief, we're being shaken about here, aren't we? Lost a lot of altitude. Glad the seatbelt sign is still on. Yes, very Aussie. Yeah, I've been watching Neighbours for too long, that's why. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how you get on, Paco, for sure. Right, so the QNH is going to be 1015. No significant weather. Temperature's going to be 8. So quite a bit colder than Dubai. I'm surprised by that. Mind you, I guess it's middle of the night there now, isn't it? 230 at 6. Transition altitude. Let me just have a quick look at today's SID. Transition altitude. Oh no, that's the wrong airport. Come on, man. Transition altitude is 12,000, so we'll add 1,000 to that for the transition level and call it flight level 130. Bring up the approach chart, and I will show you all of this once I've programmed it in Navigraph, so you can see what's going to happen. So the minimums for a Cat 1 ILS are going to be 200 feet above ground level, which is 1947. It's higher than I realised, Islamabad. Good, that's that. Just check out the airport chart. If I remember rightly, we're going to be going to stand 8, yes, that's where the real flight parked on one of the days I checked. Good. So we're going to use auto brake low, I think, because we've got a nice long runway. Yeah, we've got 12,000 foot runway, so that'll be fine. Take back control.
I have control.
You have control.
And there are no altitude constraints on the star. So our first constraint really is we want to be at 3,700 feet by Renux. It's interesting, so you intercept the ILS at about 1,500 feet above the ground. Let's just check all of this makes sense. Is the Renux 3,700 feet. IS 411. Perfect, perfect. So we're at 37,000 feet now. To lose that we need to multiply 37 by 3. So that's what, 30, 60, 90. Yeah, 111. Add 10. So we need to start our descent about 121 miles before arrival. Obviously we've got this wiggly little bit here. But I'm glad you mentioned our arrival, Jason, or I would have got so lost in the chat I'd have completely forgotten all this. And as you can see, we're pretty close to where we need to start descending. Right, I'll show you what we're up to. So as you can see, we're nearly there. That's the first thing. We're just east of Tank and north of Dera Ismail Khan. The arrival, it hasn't popped up. I think I may have to reload the flight. Hold on. Yeah, there we are. So this is our arrival routing. and it's the Damto 1 Echo we're following. So we'll be coming in here, we'll be making a sort of arc to Ista, and then turning left to final. And as you can see, there are no altitude constraints or anything like that, which is why I said we would be... Oh, there is actually. At Ista we need to be at 6,000 feet, and then Renux we have to mandatory be at 3,700. So that's what our arrival is going to look like. And before I close this, I may as well show you what we're doing. So we're landing on 28 left. Hopefully we'll exit via Charlie. If not, we can take Bravo. And we're going to be parking on this side of the terminal on stand 8. So there you are. That is the plan. And I think we'll start our descent to 6,000 feet. And not a moment too soon. Possibly a moment too late, but we'll see. A cockpit in the kitchen! Good grief. I wouldn't want that, I don't think. .1, room for many bimbles. See, I'm my own worst enemy really when it comes to flight sim stuff, because I love flight simming, but I also don't want to... I live on my own, but I still don't want to take over my whole flat with it, which is why I think getting the loft sorted out might be the way forward. Hello Jay, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so we had a bit of an issue with the timeline at the top of the stream. It's it doesn't recognise Islamabad Airport, so it was telling us that we had got there already before we'd even taken off. So I turned it off for this flight. Out of tank fuel crossfeed. It means it's nothing to worry about. It means that your outer tanks are feeding fuel into your inner tanks. So you'll notice you've got 2 left tanks and 2 right tanks, and all it means is that the outer tanks are feeding into the inner tanks. So it'll do that slightly before your inner tanks are empty, I think. Welcome back, Stucker. Hope you washed your hands. I certainly will be, LDR. I certainly will be. I'm just curious as to how he managed to cook with that in his kitchen. I'm just picturing the man giving up on the kitchen and deciding to just have takeaway for the rest of his life. Hello, Sean. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. So we're just descending towards Islamabad now. It's a lovely view, isn't it? See a lot of agricultural fields and things down below now, which is probably because we're getting closer to Islamabad, I would guess. This part of the country's been tamed. No air traffic control on anywhere near us, unfortunately, but that was to be expected. Oh, Sean, that's very kind of you. A very kind offer. I think I'm all right for mods at the moment, but I'll certainly let you know if I do. Thank you. Yeah, I bet you are, Stucker. Yeah. It'd be fantastic to get away if you can. Thanks. Thanks for the knowledge. I was trying to work out what that river was, Jason. And Navigraph's not very good at details like that, and I didn't quite get around to looking at Google Maps. I don't know what you mean, Sean. Lickle mean moderator, so I don't know what that means. So we've got another 103 nautical miles left to run. ETA 0322. So it's 15 minutes till landing, something like that. So I would normally at this stage put the seatbelts on, but because it's been so choppy, they're already on, which is good. Yeah, I need to get you a special geographic helper badge, I think, Jason. Did I finish the perf approach page? I feel I did, but I also feel I've forgotten something. Yeah, did that. I didn't check the ILS. That's
cabin crew, prepare for arrival.
So 108.1 IBBA. And we'll turn on the landing system display in preparation. And this all seems to be going, touch wood, okay so far. Yeah, so the only way you'll know the active runways is if you use an online ATC service, i.e. VATSIM or iVal. Other than that, you really just need to be checking the weather, which you can do using a Meta website, and I tend to use AllMetSat, and then just make sure you choose the runway that is most into the wind. I'll post a link. But to be honest, I normally now use vPilot, or just Google Meta and then the airport code. We came to the end of the music. I tend to turn it off towards the descent and approach part of the flight, so that I can concentrate, basically. Yeah, it is a bit annoying. Agreed. I do sometimes, LDR, yeah, I do sometimes. I just, well, I suppose I used to watch them a lot more before I started doing my own. Nowadays, I have so little free time when I'm not either streaming or working on a YouTube video or eating or at work, that I don't have the chance, really. Oh, that's a good call, Jason, actually. Yeah, if you want to know what runways are actually being used in real life, then yeah, you can look at the way the planes are going on Flight Radar 24. It had never occurred to me. Talking of active runways, I am just going to have a quick look at VATSPY, just to make sure there is no one around us that we need to be talking to. That's odd, we seem to have disappeared off VATSPY. Or I'm just looking at completely the wrong place, I don't know. Bear with me a second, I'm just trying to find our flight because it's weird. Ah, okay, it just hadn't refreshed, it was still showing us at the airport. We're here now. Delhi Centre's online, very close to us, but and there's one departure from Islamabad going to Ras Al Khaimah International, OMRK. He's somewhere off to our left and ahead of us, shouldn't have any difficulties there. So yeah, good. Yes, I would highly recommend that, Jason. Thank you. Yeah, no one should watch anyone other than me ever. And we are below our transition level now, so we'll set the local pressure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving.
And as we're passing 10,000 feet, we'll turn on the landing lights. I'm not used to transition levels this high.
All the video monitors inside the terminal for connecting agencies. For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk.
One more tip for VATSIM. If there's a discrepancy between the pressure in SIM and the pressure that's given on the ATIS or in the Meta, always go with the SIM pressure, otherwise your altitude will be incorrect. So just press the B key, in other words. Right, let's start the approach checklist.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Baro ref.
1015 set.
1015 set. Minimum. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
We can turn up the brightness a little bit now. Zoom out the map. And you can see the approach course that I showed you on the charts earlier on. We're in for another beast from the east, are we? Just when I was about to get back on my bike as well. Was that in the Express you read it by chance? The Express is always full of doom and gloom about the weather, a lot of which never comes to pass. It's interesting. ABY829, the nearest aircraft to us, has changed direction. This is beautiful, isn't it? It's like being on a different planet to what we're used to in Europe. Oh dear, it might be true then if it wasn't in the Express. Oh no. Oh well, we'll get through it. Oh, nothing fancy, Sukhoi. I commute to work, but I don't do it when the roads are slippery. And I go out on, well, pre-COVID I used to go out on bike rides with my friends, just sort of 30, 40 mile jaunts, that sort of thing. But now I mostly sit on my sofa in front of the computer, so I'm quite keen to get back out exercising a little bit more than I have been. Yeah, I tell you what, if there are more airports released in Pakistan or on the Indian subcontinent, or generally this region, I will certainly be doing more flying around here. It's just stunning. No, I'm too much of a wuss for mountain biking. So we want to be at 6,000 feet and at 220 knots by the time we get to Ister, which is here. So yeah, we're fine. And before we get to Ister, we should have automatically entered approach mode, which will take us down to our green dot speed, which is below 220 knots. And if not, we'll start doing that manually. Yes, I've had 2 COVID-19 tests, both negative. Was this on all Metsat, Edgar? Skydiving there. Do you know, of all the adrenaline adventure sport type things, skydiving is probably the one I'd like to do the most. I think I'd find it absolutely terrifying, but it must just be a spectacular view on the way down. I'd rather skydive than bungee jump, for example. Also, welcome back. I didn't know you were here, Christopher. Nice to see you again. Did you really? I can imagine it's very addictive. I know a few people who have done one skydive and have just kept going back for more. A bit like people who run a marathon and come back saying, I'm never doing that again, ever, ever. And then they sign up for the next marathon they see the following year. So you can see that we are now within range of the ILS, so we've got the localizer and the glide slopes showing up. That other aircraft appears to be well away from us now, so there's not even really much point in talking on the Unicom, because there's no one around. Just spectacular, isn't it? So as you can see, the aircraft's now slowing down to the green dot speed, and we'll extend flaps 1 just before we intercept the final approach course. Hello there, Minx. Don't worry, don't worry. Work's always a bit of a pain when it comes to this sort of thing. Nice to see you, and yeah, I'm not doing too badly. Hope you're okay too. Funnily enough, I'm not particularly scared of heights. I can go up a tall tower and look over the edge, and I'm totally fine with that, but it's the idea of losing a lot of height very quickly that puts me off skydiving and bungee jumping and base jumping and all of that sort of thing, really. So after Istur, which is here, we want to descend to 3,700. So we may as well get that set up now, ready. And as we are about to turn final, because YouTube says I have to do this, I'm going to plug Club Filbert once again. Those of you who want to support the channel can join Club Filbert Bronze or Silver. Click the join button below and there's a little video that tells you all about both of them. Or if you just want to make a one-off donation, you can do that too using the Streamlabs link in the video description, or that Nightbot keeps banging on about. And if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, you should have done, but I'll let you off as long as you do it now. And that's it, that's my self-promotion done for the day. Oh good, glad you like the overlay. Right, we'll start our descent now. There's no traffic, Edgar, no traffic at all. No ATC either. So this will be my first proper look at the Simarc Islamabad airport as well. I popped in there to take the screenshot for this video thumbnail. But other than that, I haven't seen it, so it'll be quite interesting. That's interesting. We're no longer following the flight plan for some reason. Come fly with me simulations. Thank you very, very much indeed. Thanks, I appreciate that. However, for now, we're going to have to go into selected heading mode because it's followed the flight plan beautifully all the way, but now it's just flying straight to the airport, which is something I haven't experienced for a very long time. That's so interesting that you don't get vertigo because it's so high up. But yeah, when you see clouds, you do a little bit. Yeah, I can understand it. Suggestion Club Philbert Gold with access to an actual Yeah, I mean, that could be done. The pricing would probably have to be higher than YouTube allows, but I could bung them an email. Check I haven't got a user point in the flight plan. I haven't. But even when I do have user points, they're usually fairly sensible and it flies to them. Anyway, it's no biggie. We'll be able to intercept the localizer fine this way. Let's extend flaps 1.
Flaps what?
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Hello, so thank you for your donation, and hello and welcome to the chat. Come fly with me. Nice to have you here as always. Hello Garlic Games, welcome to the stream. Ah, and you had the same on the approach to Lanzarote. Interesting. So I think I used to have that in the pre-mod days. The approaches were all over the place, but I haven't had it for quite a while. So again, we should be able to arm the approach mode
Checked.
here, but often that leads to it doing crazy things, so I'll just press it once the purple diamond down here starts moving across.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
I'm just overshot, but never mind, it'll work it out. And worst case scenario, we'll fly it by hand.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Hello Mason Jason and hello David, welcome to the stream.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked.
To clarify, we're landing on the left of these
Flaps
two runways,
3.
but it's not following the ILS very nicely at all.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
Flaps full.
I'm good, thanks Daniel, how are you?
Cabin crew,
And
be
thank you,
seated
Abdul.
for landing.
Any tips on landing at Southend? No, I haven't done enough of it to offer any, other than auto brake medium, full reverse thrust when you get down, and make sure your spoilers are armed.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete.
It's interesting the different widths of these runways. That's apparent on the chart as well. I don't know why you'd have one thin one and one fat one. If anyone has any insight, then let me know. And specifically for Jason and Cathal, have a little bit of wing action. Just a little bit. No, it's sorted itself out now, fortunately.
Checked.
Yeah, a wider runway would be better for wide bodies, but I'd have thought if you have one wide runway, you may as well do both of them.
500.
So the PAPIs don't work, that's my first observation about this airport. And the ILS isn't brilliant, but that's probably a sim fault. And I'm trying to follow the PAPIs even though I know they don't work, which is not helpful.
Minimum.
Continue.
Not the best approach, I think.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. Drive.
But not a bad landing.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. $70 knots.
So we'll take the next exit. Save the brakes. And sorry for missing some of the chat messages. I will catch up once we're parked up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. And the
Nothing
aircraft
coming,
is parked
probably.
safely. This will be your indication.
Certainly there was
that it
nothing
is
on
safe
Bats
to
Spy.
move around the cabin, gather your belongings and disembark. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today.
So one or
We appreciate your
two
business
odd
and
terrain
hope
issues. We've got
once
quite a
again
few
on future
hills.
flight. Thank
But then we did at the default Dubai as well, so we can't complain too much about that. And now we're clear of both runways. We'll turn the landing lights off. Nose light to taxi. Strobes off. Start the APU. And we'll begin our trundle to the gate. A few stutters as well I'm noticing as I'm turning this corner. I'm sure they look worse on the stream than they do in the sim, but yeah, they are there. Right, what else are we doing up here? Have we done it all? Yeah, of course we have. Let's do the after landing checklist.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Well, look at that, I just about remembered to turn the weather radar off in time. It's the first time I've done that, I think.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
APU.
They're not. Need to get used to that.
Start.
Radar.
Off.
Predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Bartjan, and I'll come and soak up the rest of your praises soon as we're parked. I enjoyed that. That was a good flight. Good chat. So yeah, thank you all for providing the entertainment. And something a bit different. Thanks, LDR. So, what did I say? Gate 8 we wanted to park at, I believe. Which is going to be one of the ones with the jetway on the left, and hopefully we'll have ground markings. We do.
Taxi light off.
So what I'll do is I'll park up, we'll do the parking checklist, I'll catch up on the chat, and then we'll just take a little tour around the airport and see what we think of it. One of the things about the wing drop on flare issue being sorted out is that I'm no longer scared to use my rudders, which is quite useful, particularly when you're making light adjustments towards the end of your approach. Right, parking brake set, APU bleed on, engines off, seatbelt sign off, beacon off, and up pops the stupid thing. Fuel pumps off, and we'll do the parking checklist.
Parking checklist.
APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seatbelts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
On and in.
Parking checklist complete.
Right, what have I missed? What have I missed? Yes. Yeah, this is how I've got through the lockdown, really. It's simming. Passengers won't care which runway I land on. True, true. Glad you're well, Daniel. True, Jason. I don't want you to get used to too much wing action. That would be unhealthy. The A380 needs a very wide and reinforced runway. Yes, it does. Yeah, maybe they did. Maybe it's just an older runway and a newer one. That would make sense. Smooth butter, butter, nice butter. Thank you very much. On some ILS approaches you use the localizer and approach button, and on others you only use local. Well, you can do either, safety. You should be able to just press the approach button and it won't intercept the glide slope until you've captured the localizer. But if you want to capture the localizer first without any risk of this aircraft capturing the glide slope before it should, then you can use the localizer button, and then once established press the approach button. Oh, I'm glad I brought back some memories for you, Stucker. The cabin crew lady is clearly a kid. Oh, do you think? She doesn't sound that young to me. But, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Glad you enjoyed it, LDR. I may have already answered that, I'm not sure. But, good. Thank you, Sukhoi. Nice landing, so thank you, Nathaniel. And, yeah, nice to have you with us. An exquisite land. Thank you very much, Il Diablito. That's the best comment so far. Exquisite is most underused when in reference to my landings. Oh, the Southend Tower is incredible. Yeah, it is. And they've done exactly the same thing with their first airport, which was Wickham Air Park. They've got an incredible tower there as well. Thank you, Edgar. And thank you, the Minx. Daniel, no, I don't have a VR headset, and I don't think I have a system that could support it properly. So it's something I would like to do, but it's going to involve spending some fairly major money on upgrading my system, I expect. So I'm not desperate to do it yet. While I'm getting good performance with things as they are, I sort of don't want to mess with that. Anyway, let's take a look around the airport. Got some transparent glass here, which is nice. The modelling looks pretty good to me, pretty accurate. And we've got a rather nice interior as well. I did not know that. Glass isn't tinted from the inside, but as I was just saying to Christopher, or as Christopher was saying, it's quite rare to find any glass that is tinted from both sides, and there is a reason for that which I can't remember off the top of my head. Certainly Southend was good. Pilot Plus are very good at that sort of thing. But the detail here is nice, isn't it? Oh, Paco, I missed your message. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and yes, I will see you again soon, I hope. Yeah, this is very nice. The interior is lovely. The exterior is very nice. The ground textures look pretty good. I can't speak to their accuracy. But, yeah, I'd say this isn't half bad. The question for me is, where's the entrance? I guess it's over the other side here. Just turn up the zoom speed a little bit. Cheeky bonus review, yeah. Truth of the matter is, LDR, I'm sort of wondering whether I can get away without doing a review of this, because I've got so many to do. But I think I probably will, because it's quite good and people should know about it. If it was rubbish, I probably wouldn't bother doing one. Right, slow the drone down again. You can get a little insight into my creative process when I'm doing all these clips for the reviews. This is nice, isn't it? Nice and reflective. You went to that gate, did you, Stucker? You got a good memory. Nice, nice roadway textures. Quite a nice car park. It's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good. Certainly heads and shoulders over Milan Malpensa. But anyway, I think I will end the stream here, and I will continue looking around this airport in my own time. I think you've probably seen enough. But as ever, thank you very much for joining me. The next stream will be, it'll be Bimbles Around Britain. It'll be the group flight on Saturday at 1400. Then on Sunday at 1400, Kevin and I will be doing a shared cockpit live stream, which should be fun. Something a bit different again. So hopefully you can make one or both of those. And until then, thanks again for joining, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.